Hello and welcome to Motion RC Live. I'm your product specialist, Wesley, from here at motionrc.com. And today is a special episode for me, personally, and my family. I have in front of me the Nexa B-24 Liberator. This is one of the biggest, finest models of this aircraft that have ever been available as an ARF, and it's here available at Motion RC right now. Unfortunately, they aren't in stock currently, but we will be getting more in the future. This is an extremely limited run product, so when we do get these in stock, if you want one, I highly recommend you hit the notify me when back in stock button and buy it at the time they come in. That being said, when they came into stock, my friend Jerry McGee surprised me with this airplane. I wasn't actually going to get to do it here on the channel because it was a limited production run. I didn't think I was going to get it and I was going to miss out on this one. But he surprised me with it for my birthday this year, and I can't thank him enough. So if Jerry McGee's watching this right now, a big personal thank you to him before we get this video going. Otherwise, you guys wouldn't be seeing this airplane in front of us. The aircraft actually comes with a different livery on it than this, and I wanted to go over today why I chose this livery and share a little bit of information about the Mary Boozer, which is the B-24 we have decided to model, and have a little fun with this project. Now, as you can see, the airplane is extremely impressive. It is huge. This is 2,800 millimeters, and I can't remember the inches off the top of my head, 110.2 if I remember correctly. Got it. Woo! Millimeter converter. Anyway, it's an extremely impressive model, though, when you have it sitting in front of you. And this is an airplane I have dreamt about owning and enjoying for a very long time. Now, I built this airplane out of my personal budget, so I just want you to know I am a modeler at the end of the day, just like you guys, and I love this hobby. And it's even better that I get to share it with all of you because it's an airplane we do here at Motion RC. Now, as you can see, the airplane is sitting here in front of us. I have it all hooked up to where we can power it up in a minute and show you. We were able to get the turrets working, the flaps, everything works on the airplane now. We're actually planning to maiden the aircraft tomorrow, so hopefully, fingers crossed, everything goes good. So far, it has all checked out great here on the bench. I've been very cautious with everything we've done on it to make sure this is an absolutely stunning model. If you have questions as we go through this, I will try and answer them to the best of my abilities. As we get into kind of the history and stuff, though, I'm going to hold off on questions for a little bit, and we'll answer those towards the end of the video if you have questions then. Like I said, this has been a really special project for us because my grandfather, Charles Wesley Miller, actually served and flew on the Mary Boozer B-24 in World War II. My father usually does a lot of the stuff behind the scenes with us. He builds a lot of the aircrafts you see here on Motion RC that we're reviewing. As far as the wood aircrafts behind the scenes, he is extremely passionate about this hobby, and he spent a lot of time getting this aircraft ready. We were trying to get it ready for Joe Nall, Fall Nall, I should say, which we're still on the fence about right now with the hurricane and everything that's going through, so we'll keep you up to date on that going forward. But the goal was to have this airplane done this week and maiden flight this week, and we have made our goal with a lot of work and time put into this model. The other thing I'll tell you is going into this aircraft, guys, know that this is not for a beginner. This shouldn't be your second, third, fourth balsa build. This one's after you've got a little more experience. There's a lot that goes into this aircraft. The wings are very complex, you know, 4 engines, 4 ESCs, 4 servos for the flaps, aileron servos. It's got Fowler flaps on it just like the real thing, so there's that mechanism of sliding it in and out. There's a lot of complexities of this aircraft. Uh-oh.
Lori did it.
Lori hit a button, sorry. Anyway, there's a lot of complexities to this aircraft. Sorry about that. Lori hit a button. There's a lot of complexities, though, that make this a little bit more difficult than some of the other aircrafts. It's not hard by any means. It just takes a lot more time to really refine everything out. The landing gear retract, everything that you want to see in a scale aircraft works, and it's really cool. So before we get into the actual airplane, I'd like to get into the history of the aircraft and why we chose what we did. So I'm going to have Lori pop on the screen real quick the cruise picture. And so we can kind of go over that real quick. And let me pull it out too so I can read it with you guys, because I have a hard time remembering everybody's name. Of course, Charles Wesley Miller is right there in the middle. He's kind of in front of the boozer itself. That is my grandfather. The tall one. You also had Donald P. Scott, the left waist gunner. Oscar E. Jones, the armor and nose gunner. Kenneth K. Keene, the tail gunner. And Charles Wesley Miller was the radio operator and right waist gunner. He had 2 positions on the airplane. Richard E. Duell, engineer top turret gunner. I have a hard time with this one. Hagaz Heroin is the ball turret gunner. You have Charles A. Boger, the bombardier. Walter R. Dugan, navigator. Edward R. Lewis, the co-pilot. And Norman E. Dietzel is the pilot. So I wanted to get that on here. And my goal with today's broadcast, guys, is also to kind of honor this crew and the service that they have put forward to us. So let's kind of scroll through some of the pictures that Lori has here. Now, not all of these guys are members of the Mary Boozer crew. Now, I'm going to have her put one on the screen right now. What you'll see is they're wearing their A2 flight jackets in this. Most of the pictures I'm going to share to you today, I've been able to keep between Papa and I over the years, and it's really neat to show this. But as you'll see, they're wearing what's called the Pathfinder's insignia on their jackets. That is their squadron patch. Kind of everybody that was in this squadron and flew together had that same patch on. It's really neat. If you've ever seen the old World War II movies, you know, Memphis Belle and stuff, you'll see they all have those patches on. And that's what the patch for this exact squadron actually looked like. The next slide she has available, I'm trying to get to it, was another crew. This is still not the Mary Boozer crew, but it's from the same squadron. And if I remember right, let me flip to the same page as Lori. Sorry. It's hard to see where she's going from across the room, but that crew, if I remember right, was killed in action. And my grandfather saved that because they meant so much to him. I can't remember what page it's on and what it says. It's got the date right there on it. July 30th, 1945. There you go. So that was that other crew. And I believe these were a pretty close friend of my grandfather. I wish my dad was in here sometimes to be able to give me some of the information that he knows on this. But anyway, we'll go to the next slide, though. It's another one of the gentlemen from that crew leaning out of the aircraft. It's just kind of fun to see this. This is the 392nd Bombardment Squadron. The next image she's going to put on here is actually a bombing report picture of Iwo Jima. So pretty neat. What the Pathfinders would do is scout ahead and take aerial reconnaissance pictures before the actual bombardments, and they'd also take them afterwards to kind of show their effectiveness. So that's actually one of the pictures that they would have taken out of the aircraft of Iwo Jima. So pretty neat to see that. Next one is just some more pictures from around the ramp of some of the other aircraft in that squadron, once again. I'll give you all a second to take a peek at those. You know, just normal ramp life. All right. We've got some more in-air shots from some other bombers. As they were flying, they would lean out the window and take pictures of each other, so it's pretty cool to see it. One thing you'll notice is some of the aircraft all have that triangle on the tail. Now, we actually got it wrong on the first model of this airplane we ever made. We had the triangle the other way because in the Air Force records, the triangle is actually the other way around for the 392nd. So, term to find out, we found some in-flight pictures of the aircraft and the triangle was the other way. So this is how we found that out. Pretty neat for their marking. And I can't tell what the next one is from here.
Looks like a bunch of people on the ramps.
Yeah, more ramp guys. So, I mean, we're trying to honor all these guys. They were all together. Very neat. Oh, here we go. Here we go. So in the bottom corner there, you can actually see my grandfather, Wesley Miller, and some other guys that are walking with him. They've got their names there on that picture. Pretty neat, though.
Next is his drafting
All right.
papers.
So I don't know how many of you have ever seen one of these, but World War II, a lot of the guys were conscripted and drafted in. That is actually the draft notification for my grandfather that he was coming to war. So it's pretty neat to see. I don't know how many of you have actually ever seen what one looks like, but that was a really neat thing the first time I took a look at. And the other fun thing with this to think about is all this stuff you're seeing is, I think, 80 years old now. So it's getting up there. It's getting really up there in age. Yeah, really cool. If you want to pause it and read through any of these paperwork, it'll all be up here and available for you guys to check out.
Next is the signed papers from Truman. And
Yep. So at the end of the war, these 2 pages are sent to you. This is signed by Harry Truman at the time. May have been signed by a secretary, which a lot of the paperwork that was done back then was done. But this is Harry Truman, and that's for answering the call to serve your country.
This is a.
And then your certificate of appreciation for war service. Yep, there you go, right there up on the front. Pretty neat. And the last one, I believe.
Oh, that's not the last one.
Oh, okay. I remember what that one is.
It says something at the bombardment squadron.
I believe that's actually his acceptance letter into the bombardment squadron. I can't read it from here. Hang on. Oh no, this was the letter he received when he received the oak leaf cluster for his medal. So he did receive the air medal. I don't remember if this is the air medal one, but he received several medals. That's pretty neat. That's what that looks like. Just to give you all a look at that for a few seconds before we go on to the next slide. Trying to find that paper that she is looking at right now. If I remember right, you've got your proficiency cards, your gunnery cards. Having a hard time reading what it is from here. But we'll just flip through these for a second. These are all just kind of neat things to see. Like I said, when he passed his gun trading, I think that's the individual qualification card on the one that she's looking at right now, which gives your flight hours, how many shots fired, that kind of things. Pretty neat, though. Let's see what the next one is. Okay, this is his radio operator proficiency. So if you'll see, it's all of his tests that he completed. Saying that he was checked out on the guns and the different things. It's pretty neat. All right, so this one's really a neat one. This is actually the logbooks when it was flying. So what you can see there is we have Iwo Jima, I believe Tinian's on this one. These are all Iwo Jima. So these are actually the missions, flight times, everything as far as when he was on the flights. Okay. And this is the actual logbook, the full page of it. And you can see over on the side the total hours and missions. And then you can see the actual logbook on the right-hand side. And the final picture is going to be, I think this is his final one, right? The final picture is his uniform. We still have it and have it hanging up in the house. So pretty neat to see that. So guys, yeah, that is kind of just a little bit of history, and I wanted to share that about the airplane. A lot of guys have asked, you know, why we chose this nose art for the aircraft. I won't lie, it's not the prettiest nose art in the world, but it means a lot to me and my family, and that is why it was chosen for this particular build. So I just wanted to take that little bit of time to go over that. At this point, let's actually start getting into the aircraft itself. What you'll see is I do have scale propellers on the airplane. I've had a couple questions about where I got them. This is actually just two Flightline Tiger Cat power systems in here. So they're both counter-rotating, which is pretty cool. And like I said, it's a pretty proven system and plenty of performance for this size of aircraft. So this is basically, like I said, two Flightline Tiger Cats put together to make this aircraft. Use the same motors, the same ESCs. I take that back. I went with a little bit bigger ESC because the Flightline was out of stock at the time that I bought them. So I believe they're 65s and I went to 75s if I remember correctly. On that, we're going to be flying it on four 3600 4S batteries. They're right here. And I guess I can actually slide this off so you can see it now. I don't have the magnets installed, or the screws installed that hold this on, but there are 4 screws that hold this center section on, as you can see here. That pops right off. And let's see if I rearrange this just a little bit so you can take a look inside the aircraft. Oh, nope, needs to come towards me. And make sure I don't roll this thing into the floor because I would cry. So let me get this in the center of the top shot there so you can get a look at the battery bay. Okay, let's go into the top. So what you're going to see is I have all the batteries right here in the aircraft. Now, it doesn't come with this piece of wood here. This is something that my dad has figured out over a lot of these larger balsa airplanes. He mounts a screw coming up out of the center section of the battery tray, and we put this wood piece across here, and that actually holds the battery packs down. So what you have is 4 3600 milliamp Admiral Pro Packs 4S down in here, 1 per engine. Then you have 2 2200 2S 6.6 volt life packs in here. Now you can't get anything forward of the nose because the landing gear actually comes up into the battery compartment. So we built a board that goes across right here to keep batteries and anything from getting up into that main landing gear because we don't want nothing to jam that up. As you move back, probably the hardest part of this whole airplane as far as transporting it and things, all of the wires for the wings come right here. And I have my receiver mounted right here. You have a ton of spaghetti that comes out of here. You've got 4 ESC wires. You've got 2 battery packs as if you run the power system that I have in here. And then you have a mess of spaghetti to go to that receiver. So that is the battery bay, and that has been probably one of the more challenging parts of this assembly is laying all of this out correctly to where it's easy to still get the wings on and off because you can't transport this one in a car or a truck. You've got to take the wings off. So you need to make that easy to do. I bought a label maker lately. If you get into these larger airplanes, I can't recommend enough that you get a label maker so you can make, like there's gear, you know, so you put a gear on both sides and be able to plug it in and see it. So that's worked out really well. Now, since I've got the top off right now, let's go on and power the aircraft. Let me turn on my radio. And I mounted the power switch right here. So you just hold that. It'll turn on. And then we can put the top back on. Another fun little thing that we ended up finding on here is there is actually a window right here. And I was able to mount the power switch inside the window. So we'll show you that here in a minute, but you can see it lighting up when the canopy's on. There is the canopy. It's tight fit, so there we go, got it on. Now, I did not make this turret work, just for the fact of when I was taking it on and off, I didn't want to have to plug this in and out every time I took the top off, so I left this one as dud. But if we'll go to the front for a second, we'll start showing around the aircraft and how it all works. So up there on the nose, you can see the nose gunner position. And what I did is I ran a mix. So anytime you give elevator, the turret turns. There you go. So that's elevator. Or anytime you put aileron input in, you also get turning. So if you move the stick around, you can see that the turrets move whenever you're moving the elevator or the ailerons. I did have them on the rudder originally, but I was getting a little too much travel, so I just kept it there. The turret on the bottom is also turning right now anytime you move that. That was kind of a nice little feature though, kind of cool and a little bit different. The guns on the side, if you ever have a large bomber like this is actually not my first one. I've had several big bombers now. First thing you'll notice is every time you move around it, you're going to knock the guns off. So what we did on this one, and this is an easy mod for any of you guys that have a bomber and want to do something like this, the waist guns, just put a big magnet on the part that attaches to the fuselage. So when you're walking by, if you accidentally hit the guns, instead of breaking them, they just pop off. So that was kind of a fun little idea I had with Papa, and he made it come to life, which was pretty cool. Currently, as it sets, the bomb bay doors do not work. It's not that I don't want them to. It's just we were in a time crunch to get this airplane done this week, and it may be something we come back and revisit at a later date and make those bomb bay doors work. The airplane is also completely custom weathered, that you can see now on here. As you get the aircraft out of the box, and you can go back and see our actual unboxing of this aircraft, you'll notice that all the panel lines and rivets come pre-printed to the aircraft. Now, if you've been following our YouTube shorts lately, you'll have noticed that I've been doing a lot of airbrushing stuff with this project. And I do plan on editing that into another video at some point. It's just going to take a lot of editing to do it, so we haven't got there yet. But if you want to see some of the process, like I said, there's a lot of shorts out there now of it. We pretended like this had got hit out here, and there's bullet holes all down the edge of the wing. I'll try and get it over in the shot here in a minute. And then I made this one look like it was on fire. All the panel lines were dusted with black. Then the inside of the panels were each dusted with tan. And that gives it that weathered effect and kind of a faded look. The last thing we did, and this is kind of funny, you don't normally want this from a clear coat, but what we found is if you spray a clear coat on kind of a humid day here in Florida, it gets this white, milky gray look. And what we did is we did all the airbrushing and then put that not 3M, it's Rust-Oleum flat finish clear coat over the aircraft. And if you do it on a humid day, it milks up and kind of gets sun faded looking, and it really adds to that overall effect of the aircraft looking kind of wore out and dirty, if you can see. Now, if you yourself would like to honor this aircraft and build one, I have the flight line setting here behind us, available here at Motion RC also, and Cali Graphics now has this full set of decals available on her website. So anybody that wants this, I don't make any money off of them or anything. I'm just going to tell you, if you're trying to build this same airplane, think the story's cool, and you want to experience the same feeling, whether it's the flight line or the Nexa, these graphics are available now through her, so you can make the same airplane. This is a 1/12 scale bomber, and I forgot to look at what the scale is of that one. That's 2,000 millimeters, whereas this is 2,800 millimeters. I have to do the math to figure that out, but they are available in any scale you want them. Let me get the aircraft turned around, and we'll kind of start going over some of the other parts of it. As I was talking about earlier, there's that triangle on the back. Ooh, tell you what, guys, you don't move this thing around quickly. I don't want to drop it in the floor. I would cry. Okay. I'm hoping that that gives us a good look up the back end of the aircraft. It's huge! Anybody that lives in Florida knows the Fun Spot commercial. It's huge! I was trying to show you the back end of it. So we might have to just get Lori to zoom in on it here in a second, but here's the flaps. I'm not sure if you're able to see them right now, but what they do is they actually come out and slide down. It's a Fowler flap. It's pretty neat. It's actually the first model I've ever had that has that. And it takes a little bit to line that up because there's two servos that actually drive that and push those down and out. It's really a neat little system and looks really slick. I don't know how effective they're going to be. We're going to find out tomorrow, of course, but the videos I've seen of this aircraft fly, it looks like it flies really good. So I'm excited to try it for sure. While we're back there, you can also see the elevator, which is two servos. There's one mounted on the inside of each side of the elevator half, and then the elevator half, or the elevator, I should say, is, hang on, I'm making noise. The elevator is removable, so there's a piece of plastic back here on the back. I just have to walk around in here. It's a huge airplane. So right here on top, you can see this piece of plastic. We ended up screwing it on with 5 screws. You can take this off, and then you've got your removal points here to remove the elevator off. This whole thing comes off of one section, and then you have access to the 2 servos that are mounted underneath, and they come out in a little hidden compartment under here to where they link into these elevator halves. The rudders are mounted inside at the bottom. And I'd pick it up right now, but this weighs 26 pounds, so it's really hard to move this one around by myself. But that's where those are mounted at, is underneath there. And yeah, you heard me, this is 26 pounds of airplane. So I might try and heave it here in a minute, but I have to be careful how I pick it up too, because you have all the bomb bay doors and things underneath it. All right, I'm trying to just make sure I don't miss anything. Let's take a quick second to say, anybody have any questions? I'm gonna take a peek at this here in a second, make sure I'm watching it. Maybe Lori, if you wanna grab the camera for a second and maybe shoot some up close shots around the model, and I'll try and come read the comments section for a second. You might show them in here. I don't have the hatch quite on right, but maybe you can see it's, you know, the way I was showing the power switch earlier. Guys, I'm going to take a look at the comments right now. So if you have questions, this is a great time to look at it. If you want to know more, like I said, if you're coming in late, we did a full history of the aircraft at the beginning of this. So if you're interested in knowing more about the actual aircraft, pretty neat. EQRC, good to see you in the chat. Like I said, I'm taking a look at all the chats right now, guys, while she's showing y'all around the airplane. What is it? Oh yeah, so you can see right now she's kind of showing, those are the bullet holes that we did. You might put a little bit of lightness to it right now. It's hard to see that. Just bump up your exposure just a hair. There you go. Pretty dark right there in that corner. Caravan 17, I'm still trying to figure out how the ailerons move in different directions when connected into the same port together. You have to use a Y harness to do that, although on this aircraft, each individual aileron is plugged into its own port. I ran a 20-channel receiver on this so I could run all of the servos separately. I'll turn the aircraft again real quick and keep an eye on that chat so you can kind of show them the other side of it. Pretty proud of this one, guys. It's been a labor of love, but it's a model that I have always dreamt of owning, is a giant scale B-24 like this, and doing this exact paint job on it. Might need a bigger room pretty soon. I tell you what, that's not a joke, Skymaster. So the biggest bomber we have, this is 110 inches. If you go back on the Motion channel, there's a video of us flying our custom Wellington bomber. That's 152 inch. So that one, it gets huge in here. You almost can't put it together. So I was hoping to bring that one up for fall and all. But once again, if for some reason that doesn't happen with the weather, we'll have it at Joe Knoll. Motor size, EQRC, this is the Flightline Tiger Cat power system, just ×2. Props, hubs, motors, ESCs, everything from the Flightline Tiger Cat ×2. Keep on showing them around. I guess, let me see here. Yeah, here we go. Once again, I'm still trying to read everything. Greetings from Germany. Welcome in. Made it. Like I said, guys, if you're coming in late today and you missed part of the broadcast, I'd love for you to come back and check this out later. It's a really fun episode of this for us. We added the bullets back here too, so they were down here and across the tail. It's got the bullet holes. If you're interested in making bullet holes on your airplane like this, super easy to do. That is a silver paint pen. You just kind of dot it around in there to make a big blob. And the more random you make the blob, the better, as you can see here. And then you take a black dot and put it right in the middle of it. So it's a very simple thing to do if you want to do this on any of your aircraft, not just a giant one like this. It looks good on, your smaller ones also, just kind of a fun little thing. And like I said, the airbrushing, if we're still here, where are we at? Oh, you can be wherever you want, but here on the tail, we'll go over this a little bit. Like I said, there are videos of me doing this on other aircraft and this one if you look at the shorts, but basically you take black and you dust it over all the rivets. Then you dust it around all the panel lines. You can see the black, and that's going to leave a clean spot in the middle of your panel, here and here and here and here. You can see how it's a lighter color. And then you dust a tan or whatever color you want. If this was a Navy aircraft, I'd probably use like a gray for the blue airplane. But you dust that other color in the middle of every single panel. Takes a little while. It's not hard. I did it over an afternoon with Papa. Painting is a very stress-relieving thing for me, but that's how we did all of that. And then the triangle's just taped off, and that's flat black paint out of a rattle can to make that one. So not a lot of hard work, just time-consuming. While we're here, too, now you can really get a good shot of those flaps, too, that we were talking about with everybody. Let me pop those up and down. Awesome details. It's nice. Yep, just trying to keep an eye on the comments. Once again, guys, thank y'all for joining us today. If you're new to Motion RC, finding us because of this video, try and hit that subscribe button. We're almost at 100,000 subscribers. And there is those flaps actually working. And here in a second, I will get Lori to help me lift this into the stand, and I will show you the retracts work. But it is exciting to put this into the stand. So Lori hasn't actually done this. Right, where? Okay. Oh, okay, yeah, sure. So now we can get a good shot of the magnets. And this is, like I said, an easy thing you can do to any aircraft if you choose so. So here's the waist gunner position. And these always get knocked off if you ever have a bomber. See that? You bump into that, break them constantly. So what we did is added that little magnet to the mount so that that can pop off if you bump it, or if you're transporting it, you just take these off, stick them inside the aircraft. It gets there safely without getting broke. But this is great if you're trying to do this on any airplane. You just stick it in its hole, and there it is. It just kind of links in. I guess while you're here, too, we haven't showed the bottom turret. Now you can also see the ball turret on the bottom. We did link that up also, so when the elevator moves, the ball turret moves, and the ailerons. There you go. So I just ran a mix to the turrets and mixed them in. So like I said, there's aileron and elevator, so they move from that. Pretty cool. This turret's not operational currently. Once again, just kind of ran out of time on the back. There is the turret on the back. I'll turn it kind of more towards you. Well, you probably can't see it. Hang on, I gotta get in the right place to move this airplane. Yeah, I need a bigger shop, you're right. There you go. Can you see the turret back there now? So you can see the details. Those are the stock turrets, just as they come out of the box. Did I get it far enough, or need to go a little further? All right, there we go. So there is the turrets. They come as this vacuum form piece. You do have to cut these out right in here and then bend that around that when you glue them on. It's just screwed down for now, but we can add the servo into this really easily at a later date. Just hadn't done it yet. Same thing with the guns. We left these loose, but just tightened up with a screw. So if you bump them, they kind of move instead of just breaking. So that's how those turrets are operating there. I'm trying to think of any other custom touches to the aircraft before we put that in there. There's a skid down here on the bottom. This doesn't actually come with it. B-24s were kind of notorious for hitting the tails. You can see that. And the real airplane had a little skid that would pop out. And so to kind of mimic that, we just put this piece on right here underneath the aircraft. There you go, so y'all can see it. But I had a feeling this is probably going to tail strike because if you get it too far back, it'll actually set on the tail, even with the batteries in it. You get it to a certain point and it kind of drops forward slowly. I am still needing to add a little bit of nose weight currently. A little bit in retrospective, remember 26-pound airplane before you hear this number. I do need to add 8 ounces of nose weight to it. So next time I take the wings off, I'm going to turn the aircraft over and mount the 8 weights inside of the wheel well up in the front, and that will get us to our CG marks. I tell you what, you get a plane this size, it gets to be challenging to CG it, so we have to do it as a team. I've got them marked and then picking it up together. This aircraft, you really can't move it around by yourself. This is a team effort always to move this plane without damaging it. So when they get this size, it's pretty neat. So let's get it in the cradle now. My lovely wife will be coming over to help me in just a second. If you'll go around to that side there, Lori. We're going to grab the cradle that's right there behind you. I built a custom cradle for this. Unfortunately, our normal stands will not fit this airplane. So let me have that. I got it. Lori, if you'll just kind of reach underneath the front there, make sure you're not on any doors, and we're going to just lift straight up. Perfect. And then we're going to set down, but make sure we don't set it on the guns. Go that way. Or the front doors. Might go a little bit further forward. I don't know. There you go. That's good. Perfect. And now we can maybe rearrange the cameras. What we might need to do is put a picture up on the screen for a second so y'all don't go on a crazy ride. What we're going to do is just pop the crew up on here again for the guys that are getting in late. I'm going to let Lori rearrange the camera over to the corner of the room so she can actually get a shot of the landing gear, because I know a lot of guys want to see that. And we'll get the landing gear up for you here momentarily. Here's a little slideshow. There you go. So you can enjoy some of the pictures of the actual Mary Boozer crew. And we're going to rearrange our camera for just a second. We did go over this earlier, but some of the pictures that are going across right now, the one that just went across, or the one that's up there right now, is his thanks of service for when the war ended, signed by Harry Truman. Logbooks, certifications that he finished his school. There's the logbooks once again. Total time of service, and then the actual book. That's the uniform. Or I figured you'd slide over that way. Oh. Sorry. Lori's trying to move the camera still. And we will be back here in just a second once the camera is moved. Unfortunately, I just didn't have another camera to have out here to switch to. Ready, Lori? I'll hit the transition. If you guys are enjoying today's show, let us know. You know, I'm checking out the comment section. I see everybody commenting along. Hope y'all been enjoying this. And we're back. So now The aircraft's in the stands. That way we can show you the landing gear on the aircraft. These are the Nexa Retracts that are available on Motion RC. If you decide to get this aircraft, that is the ones we are using. Let me flip the switch. And I believe everything's up. Now, currently the gear doors are not hooked up. We may change that in the future. Once again, I was trying to get it done to get it flying right now. This is a project that can be something you work on over time. I hope that's coming across. The doors working is something I want to get doing or get working eventually. But for now, like I said, we're just trying to get it flying. So that's why the nose doors are open all the time right now. They're just pinned in to where they'll stay open. Back out. Now, something I found, if you're building this exact aircraft, the landing gear on the nose comes up really nice in the center position. But if you have a bunch of right or left rudder in it, sometimes it'll come up and stop halfway. So what I did is I programmed a mix into that nose steering servo to where whenever I flip it to go up, it disables it from the rudder so that it doesn't turn anytime you flip the switch. So like if I were to hold full rudder right now, can you zoom in on the nose wheel just for a second so we can show them this? I want to explain how I did this for any customer that gets this airplane. I highly recommend you do this the same way. What I did, so like if I hold the rudder all the way to one side or the other, you can see the nose steering. The second I flip the retract switch, I'm going to continue holding this rudder so you can see this. The second I flip the switch, the servo goes to neutral and goes up, and I can wiggle the rudder and it disables that nose steering. That way it always goes up in the same position every time and it's not going to bind up. Here we go, we'll come back out and you'll see it twist and turn and come out. We'll get a good shot of the mains now. I know this is a lot of people's favorite part of these aircrafts. You might bump the exposure just a touch while you're under there. Looks kind of dark from here. Other way. Other way. There we go. Pretty cool. This is just like the real airplane when these go up and down, so you can see that. Pretty dang cool. And there you go. All right.
Slideshow for a minute.
Slideshow and get her back in the middle for a second.
You just need to.
Yep. So anyway, guys, it's really been cool. Like I said, I'm going to keep looking at the comment section. Are there any other questions right now while we get our camera resituated into the middle of the room? Looks amazing and a beautiful job. Thank you very much, Warbird Pilot. If I miss anybody today, I am sorry if I haven't called out your name. Victor Shamulus, welcome in as always. He never misses a show. Go check out his Facebook page also, the EDF Jet Clubhouse on Facebook. Growing every day. Great place to show your Motion RC jets. Although you can't show the B-24 there. Darn it. And yeah, just checking out everybody that's talking along down here. Wild Bill, welcome in too. Adam Hampton, good to see you. Caroline, Tyler, RC, Spider, Sugar, welcome in everybody. It's been a lot of fun having you today. All right, back to it. Now, we'll go on and put it back on the main camera so you can see me and Lori struggle bust this thing off again. It's always fun. So we're going to lift it back out of the cradle and get it back on the gear. It's pretty heavy, so I like to keep it setting on the gear as much as possible. But yeah. You're good.
Thinking tail dragger.
Yep, nope, not a tail dragger. So anyway, I'm going to pop the hatch back off also for a second and go on and power the model down. I don't like to let them set here for that long on, if at all possible. But yeah, the plan currently, guys, is to maiden this aircraft tomorrow. So pretty exciting. I don't know why I took that off. I could have turned it off from my radio.
One says those throws seem a bit excessive.
They are. I have not dialed in my throws yet. I probably should have explained that beforehand. That's kind of one of the last things I do of the assembly and setup, and I haven't got there before today. But it was a perfect day to come on here and show everybody around the aircraft. Tell you what, you got to get this just perfect, and it'll slide right in there. If you're off just a little bit, she's a little tight. There we go. But yes, the throws were probably a little too big. That's just at 100% right now for the travel. And I haven't set up any dual rates or expo yet. I am going to be flying with the gyro. I love gyros. Sorry if you don't. I think they make airplanes fly better, especially big ones, and a little less resilient to the wind. Although at 26 pounds, she's going to penetrate the wind just fine. Crazy Quad Brothers, sweet bomber, thank you. Well, guys, that is the airplane. I guess for anybody that wants to see it real quick, don't forget we do also have the Flightline B-24, and I have mine customized as the Mary Boozer also, but there is the Flightline for anybody that wanted to know, has this airplane and knows how big it is. That is the 2,000 millimeter Flightline B-24. And if you don't want to spend the time to build the large wood one, this one comes out of the box with a couple screws and you're out flying it, and it flies fantastic. It's kind of funny. There's videos of me out there doing 4-point rolls with it and inverted flying and everything. You can fly this thing like a fighter and it doesn't care. So it's kind of
super low fat. So
yeah.
Scrape the belly and all.
Scrape the belly and all. We have the 3D printed cockpit details and gun inserts for these also. It's hard for me to show him right now, holding it and balancing it, but I did do the full dashboard and everything that's available here from Motion RC. Oops, bonk, bink, bonk, bang it into everything. Oop, bonk, 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 bonk. I got it. Put it right back here. But yes, anybody that wants one, that airplane is also available. We're here at Motion RC. Nope. Nope, nope, nope. Gonna put it down eventually. There it is. Trying not to break it as I set it down. Well, guys, I hope today's episode was fun for you. I'm trying to watch if there's any other comments that come in. I'm opening it up for questions and answers right now, but if y'all are good, we're going to wrap this thing up here shortly. But I've had a lot of fun with this project personally. I've really enjoyed bringing it and showing it to all of you guys. I'm hoping the flight video goes really well tomorrow. I got a lot of money wrapped up in this one personally. And I really wanted to be a good, successful maiden. It's been a lot of work and a lot of fun, and we're really looking forward to it. My good friend Jerry that actually got this for me also got one for himself, and we're talking and kicking it around about doing another aircraft from the same squadron, because I have the book with all the nose arts in it from all the aircraft in the squadron. So we're talking about doing his to match, like it's in the same squadron, same everything, but just a different nose art, which would be kind of fun to fly them together. All right. Yeah, and Lori's going to pop one more picture of the crew up there. Like I said, that was one of the biggest things for me, is to remember my grandfather and the men that served during World War II. A lot of them gave the ultimate sacrifice. I guess one thing that we didn't mention is we believe this airplane was actually shot down. We don't know where it was shot down, but we know that my grandfather was shot down on one of the flights he was on. We don't know if for 100% he was in this aircraft at the time or not, but can't confirm or tell you if it hadn't happened in this airplane, but it was in one of the aircrafts from that squadron that he was in when it was shot down. They pulled him out of the water, brought him back, stuck him in another plane, and back off to war he went. So not 100% sure if that was the fate of this airplane or it went to the crusher, but either way, this airplane does not exist anymore. Never forget. Yep, good luck on the maiden. I hope it goes good too, guys. Like I said, tomorrow. Woo! Nice to see it up close. Almost finished. Big wing. Big salutes to Mary Boozer, yeah. Well, all right, guys. It's been my absolute pleasure to bring this to you today. I hope maybe we had a little history lesson and then got to enjoy this beautiful model together. Cannot wait to see it actually flying. Hope it goes all well. And until next time, like I said, hit the subscribe button. If you're new here, remember, whether it's air, land, or sea, you can get it right here at Motion RC. And get out there and fly with some of your friends this week. There's nothing like flying with your buddies. That's why this hobby is so much fun. I'm going out to see some of mine tomorrow. We're going to all fly our bombers together. It's going to be a blast, and I can't wait to show y'all some of the videos from that. Till next time, we'll see you in the next video, guys. Bye.